In order to denuclearize North Korea, the international community needs to show its will to denuclearize the North is stronger than the regime's nuclear and missile ambitions. President Yoon Suk Yeol said this before heading to Lithuania, where the NATO summit is taking place. For more on this, we're joined by Professor Kim Jae-chun. Good morning.
Good morning to you, too.
What did President Yoon mean by the will of global society to denuclearize the North must be stronger than the North's pursuit of nuclear and missile development? And also, what will NATO member states and attending leaders, including Yoon, discuss in terms of North Korea?
Well, one advantage that North Korean regime has over, say, other democratic countries is that their leaders seldom change. Think about it. There has been only 3 leaders in North Korea. 3 Kims: Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il, and Kim Jong-un. They were all very much obsessed with nuclear weapons, not taking good care of their own people. In democracies, this cannot happen because if your leaders starve your own people to death, those leaders will be unseated in coming elections. So at least in terms of pursuing nuclearization relentlessly, North Korea's political system has an advantage. Sure, international community wants North Korea to denuclearize. South Korea wants North Korea to denuclearize, but new presidents come to office every 5 years, and then different presidents have different policies to North Korea. Some presidents put a lot of pressure to steer North Korea to the path of denuclearization, but there's some other presidents have been quite lenient on North Korea. So what President Yoon emphasized was that we have to be consistent. We have to be consistent that North Korea's denuclearization is the first order of importance. So during this NATO summit, many agendas will be on the discussion table. But I think North Korea, the importance of North Korea, the denuclearization will be on the discussion table as well. Leaders will announce that they will not give up on North Korea's denuclearization.
Right. President Yoon has been emphasizing the consistency in his policies in dealing with North Korea issues, and I'm sure he will ask for a stronger global solidarity in putting that pressure on North Korea to stop from developing even stronger nuclear and missile development. Now, also on the sidelines of the NATO summit, President Yoon and the Japanese Prime Minister Fumio, Kishida, we all know they are sitting down to discuss the Fukushima wastewater release, right? And Kishida is expected to ask for Seoul's understanding, and the South Korean government has shown respect to the IAEA report, right? Now, can we expect any surprises from the meetup?
I don't really expect any surprises from the summit. For one thing, the summit is going to be very brief because aside from the summit with Prime Minister Kishida, President Yoon will be having at least, as far as I know, 5 more summits with other leaders. So you are looking at a very busy schedule here. On top of that, two leaders have met several times in past 5 months. I heard it was Japan that insisted that the summit with Yoon. Japan wants to address Fukushima issue, release of waters and resumption of exporting fisheries. As you said, Prime Minister Kishida would say once again that, well, the release of nuclear waters is safe, so is Fukushima fisheries. I think President Yoon will emphasize that the most important thing for South Korea is South Korean people's health. That's the most important thing. So he might ask for instituting an ad hoc inspection team between South Korea and Japan, with which 2 countries can monitor safety of released waters and Fukushima fisheries on regular basis. This could allay the anxiety of South Korean people. Despite the IAEA report that the waters and fisheries are safe, still nearly 80% of South Koreans feel anxious about the situation. And I think government in 2 countries have to do more to allay the fears of South Korean people.
Right. We all expect the Yoon Kishida talks to be very brief and short, considering they are pretty occupied. But I guess the fact that their meetup carries more symbolic meaning, considering the fact that the Fukushima wastewater release is pretty imminent as soon as next month.
Exactly.
And President Yoon will also visit Poland before he comes back to Korea. There'll be a summit with the Polish president to mark their 10th anniversary of the strategic partnership this year, right? What do you think top those bilateral talks this time?
I think two leaders will talk about how South Korea and Poland can work together to help Ukraine and Ukrainians. It is reported that South Korea and Poland will take very active participation in Ukraine's restoration, rebuilding of Ukraine's after the war, because the war will end eventually. South Korea is very good at civil military operations. These civil military operations to build war-torn societies. And President Yoon already pledged that South Korea will contribute greatly to rebuilding of Ukraine. Poland is adjacent to Ukraine, so Poland was very much affected, adversely affected by this war. Poland is very much interested in rebuilding of Ukraine as well. So rebuilding of Ukraine is something two leaders can discuss. Along that line of discussion, two leaders can talk more about the ways in which two countries can deepen defense cooperation. Poland always had great security concerns, but now after the war, they are all the more concerned of their security. So Poland is buying South Korean K9 artillery and other weapons from South Korea. So deepening this defense cooperation and working on other defense contracts is going to be another important agenda that's going to be on the table.
Sure, South Korea and Poland are clearly codependent at this time of the year or era, I have to say. All right, Professor Kim Jae-chun, thank you so much for your insight this morning.
Thank you.